Today, we are going to be reading The Most Magnificent Thing. And while we're reading, we're going to be talking about the different story elements. Remember, our story elements are characters, setting, the problem, and the solution. Let's start reading. The Most Magnificent Thing, written and illustrated by Ashley Spires. This is a regular girl and her best friend in the whole world. They do all kinds of things together. They race, they eat, they explore, they relax. She makes things, he unmakes things. One day, the girl has a wonderful idea. She is going to make the most magnificent thing. She knows just how it will look. She knows just how it will work. All she has to do is make it, and she makes things all the time. Easy peasy. First, she hires an assistant. Next, they gather their supplies. They set up somewhere out of the way and get to work. The girl tinkers and hammers and measures, while her assistant pounces and growls and chews. When she finished, she steps back to admire her work. She walks around one side. Her assistant examines the other side. It doesn't look right. Her assistant picks it up and gives it a shake. It doesn't feel right either. They are shocked to discover that the thing isn't magnificent or good. It isn't even kind of sort of okay. It is all wrong. The girl tosses it aside and gives it another go. She smooths and wrenches and fiddles. Her assistant circles, tugs, and wags. When she is finished, she stands up and takes a long look at it. Her assistant gives it a nudge with his paw. The thing is still wrong. She decides to try again. The girl saws and glues and adjusts. She stands and examines and stares. She twists and tweaks and fastens. She fixes and straightens and steadies. She tries all different ways to make it better. She makes it square. She makes it round. She gives it legs. She adds antennae. She makes it fuzzy. She makes it long, short, rough, smooth, big, small. One even smells of stinky cheese, but none of them are magnificent. Her hard work attracts a few admirers, but they don't understand. They can't see the magnificent thing that she has in her mind. She gets mad. The angrier she gets, the faster she works. She smashes pieces into shapes. She jams parts together. She pummels the little bits in. Her hands feel too big to work, and her brain is too full of all the not right things. If only the thing would just work. Crunch. The pain starts in her finger. It rushes up to her brain, and she explodes. It is not her finest moment. I'm no good at this. I quit. Her assistant suggests a walk. It's not much help at first, but before long, she starts to feel different. Bit by bit, the mad gets pushed out of her head. As they stroll along, she comes across the first wrong thing she made. The bad feelings are about to start all over again. Then she notices something surprising. There are some parts of the wrong things that are really quite right. She bolts on one, the shape of another, the wheel to seat ratio of the next. There are all sorts of parts that she likes. By the time she reaches the end of the trail, she finally knows how to make the magnificent thing. She gets to work. She works carefully and slowly, tinkering, hammering, twisting, fiddling, gluing, painting. Her assistant makes sure there are no distractions. This one is all wet. This will stop that leak. This is the perfect thing to ward off bears. The afternoon fades into evening. Finally, she finishes. She alerts her assistant. The pair take a good long look. It lands a little to the left, and it's a bit heavier than expected. The color could use a bit of work too, but it's just what she wanted. They climb aboard and take it for a spin. They are not disappointed. It really is the most magnificent thing. So if we look back at our story, we want to find our different story elements. So the first one is, who are our characters? And our characters are this little girl and her assistant. Then our second story element is the setting. When did our story take place and where? We know it started in the daytime and it ended in the evening. And we know it ended in the evening because the story told us. And our story takes place at the beginning. It kind of takes place in the house, in this little girl's house. We see at the very beginning, she's inside of her house. And then they go outside and they're finding all the materials and they're building. Okay? And then when they go on their walk, we see that these places are all outside of their house, maybe in their neighborhood. Okay, so that's our setting. And then our problem of the story. Our problem is what goes wrong in the story. And think about it. What went wrong in the story for the little girl? That's right. She was having a hard time making her magnificent thing. And then she got angry and upset. So how did she fix her problem? What was her solution? Well, her assistant right here suggested a walk, and they went on a walk, and the little girl calmed down. And then when she was all calm and she looked back at all of the things she made, she was able to take parts to make her most magnificent thing. Great job, first grade.